There's a potential that I will receive a lot of hate and misunderstanding in this video, but it's the risk I'm willing to take. In the social media world, you cannot control what other people hear, and they pick and choose what you say, twist it, and then hate on you or accuse your character. I'm taking a risk. I ask that you give me 5 minutes of your time. If you need to save this for later, go ahead and save it. For the facts I'm about to share, I need to establish who I am. My name is Mary Reyna. I've been boots on the ground in Western North Carolina since day 5. I started going throughout all the counties serving families, and then I was hired as the operations manager for the nonprofit Patriot Relief. I am out in the field through multiple counties in WNC for anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day. This is an example. This was my daily travel on Sunday. I was in Mitchell County, Bumpkin County, Marshall County, Yancey, Polk, multiple counties in one day. That was my route that I took. This ain't going to be pretty. Those are my boots that I wear every single day. And you know why I have to wear these thick boots still? That stuff you see at the end of my shoe ain't mud. We've got counties that have major plumbing issues. We are still doing recovery in certain counties, specifically Polk. Do you see this debris pile? Under there, things are still being found. Scents are still being found. The debris has all washed to certain areas and pile up significant piles. We are still doing recovery out in certain counties. So with that being established, please trust what I'm saying is facts. I would never want to fabricate anything. In fact, I slam down any rumor and I say that is not true. With all of that being said, I've got some things to say about what is happening and our government's response of what is happening out in California versus their lack of response of the devastation in North Carolina. Now, I am from California. I moved to North Carolina from San Diego. I owned a home in Oceanside. My brother and his wife and niece and nephew are still out there outside of Los Angeles. They lost power. They had to deal with high winds and smoke and the schools being closed. Thankfully, all my family members and friends that I have been in touch with are all safe. With that being said, please know that what I'm about to share does not diminish the devastation of the fires in California. It is absolutely horrific, and we are diligently praying for the families, for the first responders, for the firemen to be able to contain these fires. But I cannot stay silent when I have seen firsthand the lack of response from our government out here in North Carolina and what they are doing right now in the devastation of California. I saw this morning. Biden says feds to cover 100% of costs for the initial LA fire recovery. FEMA assistance available. Let's talk about the government assistance in North Carolina. I have held so much facts back on my personal page out of protection of the families and stories. That ain't happening today. The news is reporting a little over 300 total loss of life count here in North Carolina. That's a bunch of bull BS. The first week alone, in Batcave alone, the area of Batcave, the mountain collapsed. There were 1,000 loss of life. I was not present in that moment. I have spent time with hundreds of families. I have seen videos and photos and firsthand account when I've been serving the families. 1,000 in Batcave alone. Out of the hundreds of families that I have served, with the exception of 5 families, every single family was denied the $750 loan out program from our government. The majority of families that I have spoken with that paid into flood insurance year after year after year were denied an insurance claim because supposedly it was an act of God. We're now at 100 days. I've lost count, but I think we're at 100 days after the flood happened. And you know why I say flood instead of storm? Hear me out. I told you I wasn't going to hold back, and so I'm not holding back. Every single family in Swannanoa has told me the same story account. It had been raining up until September 27th, but the day of September 27th, with the destruction hit, it was not raining. Guess what came in? Every single family has told me this same account of flood. You know what that flood was? The dam that they released all in one moment, not inch by inch, all in one moment. Our families stood in their home and had no time to evacuate. This was not a typical hurricane. I grew up in Florida. I faced tornadoes and hurricanes. This was not a typical hurricane. They had literally, within 20 minutes, they couldn't get out of their home. They had to climb to higher ground and pray for something to happen while they watched their neighbors' homes float down this flood of water. And they stood in their homes hearing the cries of their neighbor, screaming out for help at the top of their roofs. If they could make it to safety, they saw their neighbors float down that river. They saw their animals float down the river. If you come out to visit Western North Carolina, it's going to look devastating. You know why? There's been so much that's happened within 100 days, but the level of devastation was so huge, it's going to take years to rebuild. And what was our government's response? We'll give you $750 if you apply and if you qualify. If you qualify? What would not make you qualify? But I've had hundreds of families denied the $750, which would have bought maybe a week, 2 weeks of gas and groceries. And yet California gets this 100% backing. And President Biden told North Carolina within month one that the government's done all that they can for the state of North Carolina. I call bullshit. The reason why I'm speaking up today is because when I saw this happening, and let me tell you something, my friends and family are affected by these horrible fires. I'm invested in this on a personal level. But today, when I saw our government's response, I could not keep silent. I have been so conservative on my page with giving out facts of what's really going on with the lack of support from our government out here. I've got one more story to tell you. Polk County, specifically Tryon area, is not getting any attention. Asheville and Swannanoa have gotten a lot of media attention, and I've seen so many people drive by the Swannanoa River in the neighborhood of my families that we've been serving, pulling out their video camera and taking videos of devastation, not coming to help, not coming to serve, but Polk County has not received the media attention that they deserve. Last night, I got a call about a veteran who was still in a tent. Thankfully, the amount of people in tents has significantly dwindled. I've made videos about that. Praise God. Praise God we've got shelters and people out of the tents. But in this particular area, I got a call of a veteran man in a tent. The road is still broken out there. I couldn't get to him. So I got with my contacts. We were trying to reach people. I got a hold of an ATV, but at that point, it was too dangerous late at night for us to go out. I'm still trying to find ways to get to that man, to get him anything he needs to get him out of the tent, but at least warming supplies. And guess how all of this is happening? Through the American people. The government should be sending ATVs and they should be still present. But even then, when they were present, they were in their nice little warm tents, providing food, providing restrooms, providing first aid. Appreciate it. But where are they now? That is the maximum our government has done. And guess what? January 10th, tomorrow, the FEMA hotel vouchers ran out. I think they extended it by 24 hours. God bless their hearts. The government gave us an extra 24 hours before the people have to figure out what the hell they're going to do now for shelter. That's what we're dealing with out here in North Carolina. I love you, California. You were my home for 16 years. I love you. I hate what's happening. But the American people needs to know. Everyone out here, every family that I've spoken with is convinced there was an ulterior motive of why the government did not respond to the devastation out here. And yet you vowed to have California's back. I've got 10 seconds and I'm going to use it. California, you remember, even though the government is promising to come through, you stick together. It is the American people helping each other.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July.